All right, guys, welcome to Dropping Dimes. I'm your host, Flavo Rihanna, brought to you by Four Corner Sports. All right, guys, so we ended up having the return of Kyrie Irving yesterday. Man, the Nets ended up the Nets ended up getting the win. They got the win, which is not surprising. They get the win over the Indiana Pacers. But the problem is that Kyrie Irving hasn't been able to play all year up until now. He has, after today, I believe, or 22 games left available, 21 games left available up until the season is over for him to be eligible to play, just because he doesn't have the vaccine. And the Nets, they look pretty good in the second half. The first half, I don't know. I mean, it was just one of those things that, like, you saw the Lance Stevenson show. Very happy to see that man back on the NBA court. Happy to see him on the Pacers. It just seems that whenever Lance Stevenson is playing, when he's on any other team outside of the Pacers, he doesn't know how to really function. But when he's on the Pacers, I mean, the man knows how to play. And he put on a show in the first half, Lance Stevenson. But this is not about Lance Stevenson. This is about Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, looked good in the first half. He was dropping buckets and stuff like that. But in the second half, I mean, he was really, dishing it out. He was really, using his crossover, his anything to get to the basket. His jump shot was pure. It looked like he didn't miss a step for not playing the majority of the year. And this is very important for the Brooklyn Nets, because the Brooklyn Nets, Kyrie Irving is on the last year of his contract, right? He didn't sign that extension yet. James Harden also didn't sign that extension yet. So he, 2 out of the 3 people of the big 3 in Brooklyn didn't sign that extension. The only person that signed an extension is Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant, I believe, signed like a 4-year extension. So he's going to be in Brooklyn pretty much to like the final years of his career. So that's actually great, for fans of New York, for Brooklyn fans. I'll be, going to the Barclays Center to watch him. But, there's a little bit of issues with Kyrie Irving, him not being able to play because of the vaccine. And, Nets were able to bring him along as a part-time player. Never hasn't been done before. Never, I don't think it's going to be, continues to be going forward, in the years coming up. But I just think that it's very important for Kyrie Irving to, maximize his, his playing ability now while he's only playing road games, just because of the fact that Nets are trying to secure a championship. I mean, they are second in the East, as if I'm not mistaken. The Bulls are still ahead of them. I know they're going to be facing the Bulls sometime soon, within, like, I don't know if it's next game or not. I got to look at the schedule real quick. But, the Nets ended up winning 129-121. It wasn't that pretty. It wasn't that great. What's it called? Nets are going back home to the Bucks, and then they got 2 games at home between Bucks and then Spurs. They're going to the Blazers, so you'll see Kyrie Irving over there. And then, oddly enough, on January 12th, it's a 10 o'clock game in Chicago. For whatever reason, I don't understand why there's a 10 o'clock game in Chicago. That's just weird. Usually it's a West Coast game, Eastern Standard Time, that you have a 10 o'clock game. But for on the East Coast to have, or Central timing to have a 10 o'clock game, it's very weird. Anyways, so Kyrie Irving played great, ended up dropping 22 points. Not surprising over there. Kevin Durant, and also not surprising, he led the way. He ended up having 39 points. Harden, 18 points. But, we were able to see the big 3, function. All right. I think when all 3 players are playing, including playoffs, I think they're officially now 13-3, which that's a phenomenal record to have when you have all 3 superstars playing. And it just showed that Kyrie Irving did it. He did want to play. He showed up. He wasn't a distraction whatsoever. Adding him onto the roster, adding him to the playing field. You saw DeAndre Bembry playing well. You saw Patty Mills didn't look so tired and exhausted. I think Patty Mills is benefiting the most out of this, just because when on the road, he could take a little bit of a backseat and stuff like that, because Kyrie's probably going to take up the majority of the minutes. And then at home, the bench is always usually playing better at home than on road games. So, you could have Patty Mills a little bit more fresher for home games, along with DeAndre Bembry, Nicholas Claxton, played well. The man had 12 points. A lot of them were hustle points. LaMarcus Aldridge played okay. James Johnson played a little bit. Blake Griffin played 5 minutes and stuff like that. So, Kyrie played, a decent amount. He played 32 minutes. Harden played 40. Durant played 41. David Duke ended up playing 18 minutes. He only had 2 points and stuff like that. But I guess this is what we're going to end up seeing more often, that you're going to see the big three, giving it their all on the road. And then at home games, I mean, they could really rely on their bench, who they've been pretty good, led by Patty Mills, Bembry, David Duke, can do a little bit too. But it's going to come down to, can Kevin Durant, sustain all this pace? I mean, Durant is one of those that doesn't like to have any type of load management, doesn't like to have a minute restriction. Man played a lot, played 41 minutes, dropped 39 points, almost averaging a minute per point. So that's going to come down to it. But I would love to see, as the season weighs down, they could just ease down Durant a little bit on the minutes. Kyrie should definitely be fresh to play the remaining 22 available, the remaining 22 eligible games that he's able to play, since he doesn't have the vaccine. Like I said, he won't be, at Barclays Center. He won't be for the Barclays Center for the next 2 games, but he will be available in Portland. So let's see how that goes. But yeah, guys, I mean, good things to come with the Brooklyn Nets after seeing what we ended up seeing. First half didn't look so great. It was more a little bit of hero ball, but then the second half, it was just more of like more team orchestrated basketball, and whatever was being said in the locker room during halftime, it really sparked up a plug. I mean, at one point, it was like a 9-0 run that we ended up seeing with the Brooklyn Nets in the third quarter, and they just kept on, chipping away at the lead, and little did you know, they ended up taking the lead in the fourth quarter, and then they ended up, scoring almost 34 points in the third quarter, 35 points in the fourth quarter, and making sure that in the fourth quarter, Indiana was only able to gather 20 points. So huge victory for the Brooklyn Nets. They're right now, their record is 24-12. Indiana's 14-25. Brooklyn has been heavily affected with the variant, with COVID, and somehow, some way, they're still able to keep afloat in the Eastern Conference right now. Like I said, they're a game and a half behind Chicago. Very important game coming up next against the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee is just right below them. They're on the 3 seed. So a lot at stake in this next game between the Bucks and the Nets. So then, guys, I am Flavo Ariana. Thank you for tuning in to Dropping Dimes. Kyrie's back. Let's see what ends up happening. Hopefully, Kyrie can guide the Brooklyn Nets to a title. The Brooklyn Nets haven't seen a title since the ABA days, and that would really mean something for the city. So then, I'm Flavo Ariana, and I'll see you guys for the next episode. So then, guys, stay safe, guys, and have a good one. Also, like and subscribe, guys. Like and subscribe. Peace out, guys. See ya.